Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sonja, and today this vlogtober video is one that has been requested by some of you, and so I thought this would be a perfect time to share. So if you've been following along, you know. If not, I have two dogs. One will be 2 in January, and no, 3. He will be 2 in no, he'll be 3 in January. No, 2 in January, and what is wrong with me? And one will be 1 in end of October. So this month. And some of you I had shared about 2 months ago my travel essentials while traveling with dogs. We took them camping for a full week of tent camping, and I shared some of the things that I pack for them for camping. So some of you had requested if I could share my puppy must-have, like overall. So this is that video. I will be sharing some of my favorites as well as my dog's favorites. So Duke, who is my 2-year-old, turning 2, he is a Bernese, that is a Bernese Newfie, and he is about 135 pounds right now. He's not chunky. Well, he looks chunky, but he's not chunky. He's just really, really thick, and he has a very big head, and he's crying right beside me. So let's see if I can entice him to come up for a treat. Dookie, want a treat? Want a treat, Dookie? So there he is, and I think Frank's gonna come now too. No, you don't like that one, do you? No. Come here, Frankie. Frankie, come here. Come here, baby. Can you see Frankie? Here, let me take my camera so you guys can see them there. No, this is for Frank. So Frank is going to be 1 in October, end of October, and he is a drop the treat. I'm gonna get this right because I say it one way, my family says it the other way. So his breed name is Tornjak, Tornjak, and it is also known as Bosnian Herzegovinian Croatian Shepherd Dog. He is a livestock guardian, and he is native to Bosnia and Herzegovina and Croatia. So some of you may know that is the area where I come from, and I lived there for 16 years of my life. And then what else does it say? Now the fun fact is I have actually never heard of this breed when I lived there. The Dalmatian is the more common breed, as well as the Sharplaninas, which is I think would be, I don't even know how to what do they call it? He's formerly known as Illyrian Shepherd Dog, and I was just trying to see what they he is originating. He is named after Sharm Mountain, which ranges in the Balkans. I actually had one of those when I was growing up back home, but never heard of this breed. And then we came across him while we were searching for another dog, and we absolutely loved everything we read about the breed, and found a breeder not too far from us, and the parents of that dog are both imported from Bosnia and or Bosna. And then so we got him, and he is the sweetest thing ever. He's so smart, and he's silly, and he's like I said, super smart, he was easy to train, even though with being a livestock guardian, I thought he was gonna be a little bit more stubborn, but I think he listens better than Duke does, for sure. So, and this month also marks 2 years since my Golden passed away. I've had him for 13 and a half years, so that was a hard one to lose. I swore up and down I wasn't gonna get another dog, and here I am 2 years later with 2 of them. So I'm not like regretting getting the dogs. I love them. They bring me so much joy, and I'm so glad that I did get them, but that still doesn't make losing my other dog any easier. And here I am, I'm getting emotional again. So anyways, that's not what this video is about. So I'm going to share some of these dogs' favorites and some of the things that I had bought that helped me transitioning from an old dog to a new dog. So because I haven't had a puppy for such a long time, we pretty much didn't have anything. I bought a crate for my golden retriever, but never really used it past the little time that he was in it at the beginning. So I decided to go and get a crate for Duke. Now, because I knew that buying a huge giant crate to fit his full size was going to be extremely expensive and be most likely not something that I would use anyways. I don't crate them past the time they kind of get toilet trained. I know that this is not something that a lot of people agree with, but it's been what's been working for me. I don't, aside from my pumpkins that Frank keeps eating, all my decorative pumpkins in the house, they haven't really done any damage to anything, and I try to teach them that way. And we have left them now up to 6-7 hours by themselves. Not very often, because both of my husband and I work from home, and the kids do school from home, but sometimes it just happens to be that we are out at the same time, and I would say probably 6 was the most. I have my mother-in-law living next door if need be to let them out once throughout the day, but usually they are really good. I exercise them plenty before we leave for such long trips, and then they usually sleep most of the time while we're gone. At least that's what I think. You know, for all I know, they might be like going through my closets and all sorts of stuff, but I haven't noticed anything happening while I'm gone. So anyways, back to the crate. So for Duke, when we got Duke, I had picked up a crate, one of those travel crates, off of Kijiji. It was in great condition. I cleaned it, brought it home, got a little mat for it, and he absolutely hated it. I even divided it to keep him a little bit a smaller space, because he was fairly tiny at the time. I will insert a picture so you can see, but the crate was not something he enjoyed. So he didn't last very long in it. I always felt like he got so hot in it, and he would pant and get all worked up in it. So I think we have gotten him in March, and I would say by end of April he was out of it. He was fully toilet trained. He was a breeze to toilet train, and then both of them did this when they were younger. I would take them out first thing I woke up, take them out, and I would bring them down with like a Kong or some chew toy to chew while I worked out, and they would always poop in right here where there's an office. They would always come and poop. So but that only lasted maybe first 2 weeks, and then I finally figured out they have to poop before we come down. So I made sure that they pooed before we came down. So then when Frank came around, I had borrowed a crate because I didn't know how things were gonna go. So I borrowed a crate from my friend, and it was just one of those metal, like iron ones that are fully open. So the Duke's was more of a travel one, which is kind of has the openings, but it's plastic and it's closed on top. It looks like almost like a den. But this one was one of those metal ones that have the square opening, so it's open all around. And Frank enjoyed his crate. He did not complain about it as much as Duke did. But again, we got Frank in December, and I would say by the end of January he was out of it. And I kept him in my bedroom because they both enjoy sleeping in my master ensuite. I think because they are very hairy and they prefer outside when it's cold. They enjoyed the master ensuite much better because it was cool floor and they slept there. Now Frank, slowly by, I think I would say maybe March, I let him sleep downstairs because he just wanted, if he had his way, he would sleep outside, but I'm too scared to leave him sleeping outside. He would bark and everything, any noise that would come about, and we got into trouble for that already, from neighbors, so complaining. So and then we have coyotes as well in the area, and being that he was so little, I was scared that something was gonna come and eat him. So I would recommend, if you're getting a large breed dog that tend to run hot, get the crate that's more open than the one that's like a travel crate. That's my suggestion and my recommendation. Now for food wise, we went with Acana, which is Canadian made. I don't know whether you can buy it in US. I will leave the link down below. So right now I have just switched Frank to well, actually I switched both of them to this one, but they were doing a large breed formula for both for puppy and then for adult. So the vet had actually suggested originally that all the large breed dogs should go on a large breed puppy food because it's formulated so they don't grow too fast, which is not, in the long run, not good for their bones. I don't do raw food. I don't have anything against raw food. I think if you can do that, go ahead. I would have to make my own raw food, so I am sticking to this. I'm not saying my dogs do have human food. I would be lying if I say they don't. They do have human food once in a while as a treat, but mostly stick to Acana. I have to tell you, when I grew up in Europe, my dogs did not have dog food, but I also did not pick up their dog poop. That wasn't my job. I have to pick up their dog poop on our walks, and I much prefer poop that comes out of dog food poop than human poop, human food poop. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying I'm doing the right thing or anything like that. I'm just saying it is what's working for me. So the reason why we picked this type of food though is because the ingredients is great. Now the food that I had them on large puppy food. That's what we started off, and then about a year we switched to adult food because puppy food has a lot of fat in it, and you don't want to go too much after their first year because you don't want them to get fat or chunky. So, but then I took Duke for an ear infection about 2 weeks ago, and the vet had scared the poopers out of me and told me that where is it now? I was looking at the ingredients here. Where is that? Taurine. That they have found links between foods that don't contain taurine to cause some heart disease in large breed dogs. I don't know how much the power is behind that, but it's enough that made me a little concerned. So I had found that this one, the healthy grain one, because the other one didn't have any grains in it. All of the carb kind of things came from fruit and legumes. So this one doesn't have any legumes. I'm gonna just tell you quickly what it has. So first ingredients is fresh chicken, and then it's dehydrated chicken, then it's oat groats, whole sorghum, whole millet, dehydrated turkey meat, whole oats, fresh chicken giblets, heart and liver, fresh eggs, raw turkey meat, chicken fat, ground miscanthus grass, pollock oil, chicken cartilage, raw turkey liver, salt, dried kelp, fresh whole pumpkin, fresh whole butternut squash, fresh apple, carrot, pear, zucchini, chicken and turkey liver, fresh beet greens, fresh kale, fresh spinach, fresh turnip greens, fresh whole cranberries, blueberries, fresh whole Saskatoon berries, hickory root, burdock root, lavender, marshmallow root, milk thistle, rosehip, and turmeric root. So those are like the composition of the food, and then there's additives. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but one of the additives was the taurine, so I switched to this, and now I'm going to obviously monitor them because I don't want them to gain too much weight. I always worry with grain food that they will. They are fairly active, so it should be good, but they love it, so I guess that's a bonus. They love it. It doesn't smell as fishy as the other one did, and I will link the other one that I was feeding them. Like I said, I think that was great food. I went with it because I thought it was really good ingredients, and it's not powder. It's not made out of powder. It's made out of whole ingredients, so that's why I liked it. Now, speaking of fishy food, I do add some herring oil into their breakfast. They each get 2 tablespoons in it. I started this because at the beginning of the year, Duke was so, like, in springtime, he was so itchy and he kept itching. I thought he had fleas, but I just had him vaccinated, or no, I got the medication, not vaccine, medication for fleas. So I was all worried why he was so itchy, so I did some research, and most of them suggested to put them on this oil and see if that helps before you go to anything more extravagant and more expensive. So, and this is good for their joints and their skin and all this hair and all this stuff, so you can go wrong. And it's like $21 for this giant bottle. So, and this is herring oil, omega fatty acids, all natural pet supplement, and the ingredients is sourced from Canadian fisheries using only fresh fish from cold water of the North Atlantic. Herring is low in environmental contaminants and is a rich source of omega-3 fatty acids. So that's pretty much it. So like I said, it's and you get 200 servings for a 20-pound dog, and then there's instructions on 100 and plus pounds should get about 5 to 6 teaspoons. So that's 2 tablespoons. So that's what I've been giving them, and I do recommend this. I think their coat is pretty nice. I would say, I don't know whether it's from that or the food, but I will take both and put them together. Now, this was part of my travel, in my traveling bag as well, but I do like to take, because we do take them on hiking. I have 2 of these that I stick into, actually I've been hooking it up to this. I have picked this up. I know it's a dog fanny pack and I might look silly, but I don't have crumbs in my pockets from treats because they're still young, so there's still a lot of learning. So I do travel with a lot of treats, and I don't have, like I said, crumbs like these in my pockets, and then I end up washing treats in my washing machine. So, and then this has a pocket here, then another pocket here, and another pocket here. And it came with a doorbell bells, which Frank actually uses. They just hang on my door. I can show them what they look like. And when he needs to go to the bathroom, he just hits them and they ring. It actually prevents him from scratching my sliding door when he needs to go to the bathroom. And they also came with, I'm going to tell you it doesn't work, with a dog whistle. And it doesn't do nothing. And then a clicker that's supposed to distract them when they're like acting bad. If they're freaking out, they can't hear this anyway, so I can't snap them out of it. The only thing that can snap out of bad behavior is a treat. That's what I find. So I would recommend this, especially in summertime when you're going out and you might not have a pocket. It's very helpful and nobody cares that you're wearing one. So, and I hook these up just to the little hookup here that this hooks up, or you can just hook it up to the little belt, and you can also hook it to your pants if you wanted to. I don't, but I just hook it up around my waist. So that's that. And now you want to have a good collar. These we don't keep these on them at home because my kids are paranoid from TikTok that the dogs are gonna hang themselves or they're gonna hook each other up while they're playing and choke to death. So we're not allowed to put these on them. So, but it's good to have on. Duke's chipped, Frank's not chipped yet. So I always say what happens if they for some reason run out. All of their information's on here, so it's kind of a thing. You might want to have a good collar that all of their information's on there, so that way if they do get lost for some reason, they can be easily traced back to you. Like I said, Duke's chipped, so all they have to do is scan them at the Humane Society, and you pay your $150 for losing your dog and you can get him back. But if he's not chipped, then and he goes somewhere where people don't know he's yours, might be a little bit harder to get him back. Hopefully that's not something that any of us have to face. So I have two of them. This one's actually reflectant, so when the car at night, the car can see them. So, but we typically don't go out at night like that late. So, and then because they're so strong and sometimes so silly on our walk, we're still working on that. We have, let me show you here. They think we're going for a WLK, so they're both right here. So this, and I got all of these on Amazon. I can link them down below. But this is a body harness which prevents them from pulling too hard. So if they decide that they want to pull like super hard, it will squeeze their legs together and it prevents them from pulling. Now I also have a halty, which is like a face gentle leader type of thing, goes over their snout, and then it just squeezes their snout a little bit when they decide that they're gonna pull. So they typically don't pull when we're just walking, but if there is, especially Frank still, if there's another dog walking, he just wants to go say hello, so he's tries to jump. I would say 7 out of 10 times he tries to jump, so we are slowly making progress for him not to jump. It's like fishing a marlin sometimes because he's leaping to go say hello, and at 100 and how much does Frank weigh? 110 pounds. It can be a little bit of a scary sight for somebody who has like a 5-pound dog, and there's my dog losing his marbles, wanting to say hello, and then he wants to run to them really fast and say hello, 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 and you know, some people don't appreciate that. So I try to control him with the two, and my daughter walks him too, so it's a good way just to kind of control him a little bit more. So they both have that. Halti doesn't go on them very often. If I'm going for early morning walk, I typically don't put them on because the chances of us coming across another dog are not that common. But when we go for our evening walk, especially if we go right after dinner, then they will he will more than Duke. Duke's gotten so much better with that, and I just want them to be calm. We can go say hello, but you know, you don't need to act like an animal before you go say hello. So anyway, so these help. And then having a good leash is important. So these harnesses, the body harnesses, come with a leash that is horrible. If you're trying to hold them back, it burns your hand, it slips through your hand, it's too slippery. The one that comes with the Halti that you can buy is much better. It does have a little tiny stretch, which is not bad, and it is a training leash, so that means you can hook it up to a Halti and to the harness for training purposes, so that's good. But if you just want a regular leash, which is still a training leash, I like this one. I got this at Ren's pet store, and it is a really good quality, although Duke has had his way with it's fringing on a couple ends. I could probably trim that just to make it look a little bit better. But what I like about this too is you can, if you have it just hooked up on one end, and the Halti has this too, you can hook it and then you have a little loop, which is great. And then also if you're trying to control them more, at the bottom right by where they're hooked up, there's another loop which you can control them a little bit more. So neither one of them pull as hard as my golden retriever pulled when he was younger, and he needed to learn that quickly because I felt like my arm was gonna jump out of my socket. And then now I'm going to move on to some toys. Oh, and you want to have boober scooper in bags. I love the ones from Costco because you get so many for like 10 bucks and they last forever, even though Frank poops like 4 times on our morning walk. So and they're great. So I have these little pills on each, hooked up to each leash. The bags are in here, and they're a little bit scented, so the poop doesn't smell as bad if you're carrying it around. And now I'm going to go, what are my dog's favorite treats and toys? So their most favorite treat is cheese. Obviously, they don't get cheese that often, although for training purposes, some people do recommend human food, especially if you're trying to teach them something. And I think that has helped Duke with his acting out when he saw another dog. I wouldn't say it's an aggression, it's more an excitement, but because they're so big, can be a scary sight sometimes when they're jumping and barking and they're so excited they just want to go do something and say hello. And so we need to just calm down and do it calmly. So the human treats did work with that. So I had a bag of cheese and salami with me whenever I went for a walk, but thank goodness we're past that. Might have to reintroduce it with Frank. But dog treats that they love, and I get these at Costco as well. And I try to look for minimal ingredients. So I have the dehydrated liver, and then there's the beef jerky, which is just beef. And then there's the chicken jerky, which is just chicken. The beef and liver are great for training treats because I take one piece of liver treat that's that big and I can break it into three times to give it to them. I don't give them just a full size one. And beef are about this long, and again you can break them up to many pieces and give them those. The chicken I don't recommend for taking on your walks and stuff like that for teaching, because they're hard to break off, so you end up giving them the whole piece. Now if they are really good doing something at home and things like that, and they have learned something they've been working on, then I will give them the whole chicken treat, and it does take them a minute or so to go through it. So, and then if you're looking for another option for teaching treats, their food is good as well. If they, although mine don't think it's much of a treat, they'll eat it, but they much prefer the other stuff. For chewing, bully sticks are great. They love bully sticks. Frank, I appreciate $14-15 bully sticks because it takes him, you know, maybe a couple days to get through it. It takes Duke about 20 minutes, so it's not very economical for Duke, so I just don't buy them very often. Yak cheese is another great one. Frank loves it. Duke's not so much. So kind of trying to find ones that they both like. There's Tartar Busters, which are, they are about $4 at our local pet store. Again, a natural product, and they're really, really good, especially when you need a shorter time, something that is going to occupy them, but you don't necessarily need them to be occupied for about an hour or so. Although I don't think you should really let the dog chew on anything for that long of a period of time, but that's just my opinion. Marrow Bones and Rib Bones are other ones, although watch with Rib Bones because I do find that they will splinter a little bit, and that can cause some damage. So I try to avoid those as much as I can, but the dogs do love them. But the marrow bones, we stick to marrow bones. I know some people don't like giving raw bones, but I find marrow bones for my size dogs are pretty good. I do buy them a little bit bigger because they like to toss them up in the air, and I'm worried if it's a smaller one that as they open their mouth they're gonna choke on it. So I buy the bigger ones about that big, and then it takes them a while to get through marrow bones. And then I use Kong almost all the time too, and I put peanut butter, Greek yogurt, sometimes liverwurst, and then also Cheese Whiz. Not very often. Most of the time it's peanut butter and yogurt, but once in a while for that special treat I will do liverwurst or Cheese Whiz. So those are the treats. And the toys. My dogs love anything that they can play tug of war with each other. So these type of ropes are great for that. They also love Squeaky Toys. Now I used to buy, well, I still will probably buy Squeaky Toys at Dollarama because they have pretty extensive dog toy collection. But that's pretty much day or two out of that Squeaky Toy. My husband has bought these at the pet store, Global Pets, and they have lasted them. We've had it now for almost a month and a half. So there has to be some difference in the quality of the rubber, because the other ones, they just, all they want to do is get that squeaker out. So, and this one, they haven't seemed to have broken it. Obviously, it depends on the size of your dog. Same with ropes. These are from the pet store. The Dollarama sells them as well. You have to be very careful because my dogs anyways take them apart pretty fast, and then you don't want all that rope to get stuck in their little intestines. So I buy like I said, we have several of them from the pet store, and they seem to hold up a little bit better. And then stuffies, I had, this one's kind of dirty because they keep taking it outside, but I had picked these up at Costco. There were a pack of 3, and there are very squishy, and then they're also squeaky. So, and they love that. They love when they will put it in their mouth and they can just make the noise. So, and then dog beds. I will see if I can link it. If not, I will just take a picture of it. I have dog beds from Costco. They're too small for my dogs, but my dogs love them. They make them work for themselves. But the one thing that I liked about them, they were the more expensive ones. They're not the round ones that range for about $40 here. They're the square ones. They look like a couch because the way the middle flips up. Well, I took the middle off and I used that inside of their crate, which worked really, really good. the middles are not very big, so they wouldn't work for my dogs now. But they like the rest of the bed because the middle still has padding, and then they have a little side to them, and they like to kind of hang their head off of it. So they enjoyed that bed. I think that bed was about $79, so I have 2 of those. I have also bought a bed from Ren's that is massive, and I took that camping, and they hardly ever actually even sleep on it. I've had it down in a basement, but the only time they would go on it is if they're chewing a bone. If I won't let them on a couch, which I won't. So it's like us figuring out what we like to lay on, the type of pillow we like to use. That's how I feel the dogs are with their beds. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions that I might have missed, mentioning something, please let me know down below. I did not touch up on grooming supplies, which I probably should have, but I am not doing too many grooming myself because it's too hard. But I do have scissors with the safety tip at the end, and I also have nail clippers, but Frank's nails most of them are black, so I can't actually see the ending of their, I think, what is it, nerves or vein or whatever it's in the nail. So I choose not to do that. But then and I also have dry shampoo. I do actually use dry shampoo quite a bit on them. There are lots of different dry shampoos, so just figuring out which one you like probably the scent the most, I would recommend picking up. They're great for in between the groomings, just to keep the smell down. And you also want to have on hand a spray in case if they get sprayed by a skunk, because if you did not know, you're not supposed to wet the dog with anything after he gets sprayed by a skunk, rather than taking a towel and trying to soak up some of that oil that got sprayed on, and then taking him to the vet or spraying him with that deskunker or whatever it's called. I'm gonna try and look it up and link it down below, and that way, and then you can take him. That will just keep the smell kind of intact rather than getting all over the place. So you might want to have one of those. So I hope, like I said, you found this video informative. If I missed something and you'd like to know, just shoot me a comment down below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more information, or if you just want to see some dogs, because I do share days in the life. And a lot of them, most of them have my dogs because they're always near me. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.